All right.
All right, all right.
Welcome, everyone.
Let's welcome
everyone who's going to be listening. Yeah.
We have an incredible guest today, and I'm so excited that he's joining us here. I met Akshay at the Inside Construction Expo, and his energy was contagious. His smile was probably more contagious, actually, and it was a great person to interview. So I am really happy that we can connect with him and have him on our podcast. If you would like to introduce yourself and just share a little bit of how is that you ended up to be here right now today. You're in Melbourne, and yeah, if you want to just share a little bit.
Sure. Hi guys, my name is Akshay. I currently run a remote estimation service business for my clients here in Melbourne and throughout Australia. What we do is basically we have a team of engineers and architects, smart and talented engineers and architects back in India, where I come from, and they provide services of basically, just to put it in layman's word, converting drawings to numbers because that's a very tedious work, and we do this to help out our clients focus on the projects better. So they are then able to deliver their projects on site, on time, with the highest quality that they would want to. And we, meanwhile, work in the background, help them out with the quantities, numbers, etc. So this is all of my business background. But how I met Laura is a good story to share. Basically, while I was in India, I was thinking of ways to sell my business. And I realized there's no point staying in India and talking about my business online to pitching it online to the guys here in Australia. I just booked a ticket 3 months from that day when I was attending a conference is when I realized I need to fly here. So I booked a ticket 3 months down the line, traveling to Melbourne, and I saw a post online that was about the Inside Construction Expo, and I thought, why not see what's there in store for us? And that's when I saw Laura was a guest speaker there, and I was like, look, she's of the same age. Somehow, what she speaks connects with me, and when I stumbled upon her LinkedIn page about this podcast, I was like, look, I need to get in touch with her, show her my smile just to be here.
That's fun.
And that's when I met her. It was a lovely experience. Talked with her for a while, and here I am. So
Aw.
thanks to you guys.
Aw.
Thanks to Sohan. Obviously, later on we were in touch, and yes, the stars have aligned.
That is so incredible. So you started your business how long ago?
This is a COVID baby, so 2020. It really pushed me during COVID. You know, everyone moved remote to work from home. So that's when I thought, why not work from another country?
Mm.
And there was a big shortage in the industry for skilled laborers and
Still is, yeah.
estimators. Yeah, there is. That's what I heard. That was the most echoed word throughout the conference about shortage of labor, shortage of skilled labor, basically. Yeah, so happy to get a validation in the conference. Happy to fly here.
But you've also worked in very many different places. Can you
Yep.
tell us a little bit about how you ended up there and also your experiences in the different geographies?
Sure. So during my teenage years, not even 17 is when I wanted a super bike. And that's what scared my mother and my father. And I had a call from uni saying, if you send us your certificate for your 12th grade, we might have a chance for you in the uni, we might have a chance for the admission. So my mother was scared that I would, get the super bike and crash it, or, she was just scared. So instead of that, she said, why don't you fly to UK and study? I was just 17 then, so I didn't realize what was in store for me in the UK. Completely different culture, coming from an Indian background, having although I traveled for tourism, but it was just about a week or two. You don't get to experience the culture if you don't stay there. So not even 18 when I was flying to UK, I started studying bachelor's. Did my bachelor's from Uni Greenwich. The Thor movie, if you remember, the one that Thor lands on at the dock in Greenwich, London. So that's my uni.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I've actually featured in a film that
What?
was shot in the uni. I volunteer. Nah, just a
Oh, you
small
like
role,
literally made me fall for it. I was
Got
like,
me.
what?
Yeah.
It's the smile, see?
Nah. But
So what were you studying at the time?
I did a bachelor's in engineering. Apparently, mechanical engineering is evergreen. Engineering is evergreen. per the saying in India or anywhere else. So I did that. While I was doing this, I also worked as a Subway sandwich artist.
Love that.
That's what they call them. But look, I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud to have worked, accompanying my studies. The main reason for me to work was the cultural exchange. I got to be there, front of the house, talking to the customers, what their expectation is, how they want their sandwiches, and I was the artist to deliver it. So, and I got to experience a mixture of people there. I do recall there was one. I always, like, you always recall rude
Mm.
clients more than happy client. I do recall a rude client who was just in a hurry to catch a train or something, and I used to prepare their sandwiches very slowly, delicately, laying the tomatoes one by one on the side, and he was in a hurry, and he's like, can you hurry up, mate? So I come from my parents and my family, they love me a lot, and I come from a very, what do you say, lard, pyar, from a very loving culture. So that was very rude for me when he said that, and I was like, I had a glimpse at him, and I then completely started smacking all the veggies in, and he was completely fine with it. That's what he wanted. But yeah, so Subway was a great experience. Just this conversation, talking English more, because that's a second language for me. That's not my primary language. So yeah, got to learn that from Subway, and that's later on when I started working in the industry. I realized more than being an engineer, I have my interest in the economics of business. So that's when I realized I need to explore this side of things, and that's how I decided, post working in the industry for a while, to have a master's of business here from Australia, because I wanted to change the country, get to experience different culture. So I was like, Australia is pretty laid back. 2 years, 3 days a week. Why not? It sounds like a plan. So that's when I decided to come here, and Monash was a lovely uni to get into. They offered me some scholarships, and yeah, that's how I was here.
They offer me so scholarship, so some scholarships. I love that because it's such a big help. And you say that so
Yeah.
I guess like I don't know, like
Casually.
casually, yeah. I
Like, A, you got to be a bit brilliant to get a
yeah.
scholarship, and B, it's such a big help.
It wasn't a big scholarship though. I did bargain though. The education agent there in India, she was surprised for a student to say, if they don't give me XYZ amount, I might choose another
Oh
uni.
wow.
I was just bluffing, to be honest. I didn't get the scholarship that I asked for, the amount. But look, they did give me some, so I was very happy.
That's a good lesson. Yeah, like just give it a shot. I suppose you do have something to lose, like you had a
Yeah,
hope.
you had options, right? I had applied for 5, 6 unis and everything looked good. So I was like, if Monash give me this amount, I'm happy. So I talked about this with the Monash person who traveled from Australia to India just to meet students in person. And yeah, I do recall the agent was had a surprising look. There was never a student who asked for this thing, but I gave it a shot. Plus, I had a different confidence coming from having done a UK degree. No one in India, when I was applying, had a UK degree. So I don't know where the confidence came from. But yeah, did what I had to. But look, I didn't get what I asked for, but at least I got
Yeah.
something. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah, that is true. I think it's always good to just, I guess, get out of your comfort zone and ask for whatever it is that you think, you want. And then the worst case
Yeah.
scenario is not even that bad in the end. Like the worst thing that they could have said is like no. And then you at least had like, it seems like you had a few options just from like the 6 universities that you had applied. Oh, you just would have like accepted in the terms and conditions, but at least you tried it. And I think like sometimes we just hold off from doing that just
Yeah, you feel good. If even if you hear a no, you at least feel good that you gave it a shot. Later on, 5 years, 6 years down the line, you don't want to feel any regret that you didn't
yeah.
try.
100%.
That's what my, yeah, life motto is. Just take that first step. You never know what's in store for you,
Was
you
that
know.
something that you
100%.
learned through experience or was it like inherited from your parents or where did that come from?
I think it's a mix of both, to be honest. My coming from my parents' side, I think there's a village in India that's named like that's called Shewale Wadi. So my surname is Shewale, and so people in that region are all do have the same surname. So I've realized, I've noticed, all of them, the people who drank water from that same well, have been enterprising. All of them and started with a gold shop of their own, with a jewelry shop, with something that is enterprising. They're not there. They have initiated their own businesses. That's one observation that can be wrong as well. But also based upon your experiences, when you take that first, I think I did learn this from the Monash Business School as well. I have to give credits where it's due. When I was doing my entrepreneurship unit run by Professor Adam Ryan, perfect professor, such a lovely person. That's when I realized, that he made us realize, all of us, that you need to take the first step. When you take that first step and you see some friction that it's working, that's when you are motivated from self motivated. If you see just a little bit of success there, you get your own motivation from there, and then it's just about being disciplined enough to carry it further. And I've always been that person, just taking that risk
Mm.
blindly. You won't see me struggle at all, but there's a hell lot of struggle in from the in the inside. Like I'm scared always, but not on the surface. You will see me smiling. It's just about taking that baby step. The first
Mm.
step is really important. Then everything just somehow aligns. Sometimes, yeah, I feel, it's just my luck. And sometimes it's just about taking that first step.
It's so true. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people sometimes feel like, oh no, I need to have done like X, Y, and Z before I can justify taking that first step. So like I'm competent enough.
Mm.
And often like that just pulls you back because once you jump in, you learn so much more that is like so different to what you even thought you needed because you get a better understanding of what that is.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think that happens a lot with like people that have like a very structured personality. It's like, no, you have to follow A, B, C, like you have to have a process always. And I feel like sometimes life, even if you have a process, you can change it. Like you can, your plans can change. So sometimes it's good to also be like, okay, open to just trusting the universe, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Honestly, what I feel is, look, whenever I'm initiating something new that I'm getting out of my comfort zone, what I like to compare myself is with, say, a rocket engineer. It's not rocket science that I'm doing. I'm not taking the Earth the other way around. It's so that's how, you zoom out of, look at the bigger picture, zoom out of the Earth and really wonder what are you doing. That's really won't change the world at all. Or it's not like you're taking the earth from this direction to this direction, right? So
Mm.
it's not a big thing. And that's how you try to manage the pressure of initiating something new. Just zoom out and see if it's really big enough. And yeah, I mean, look at Elon Musk. To be honest, he just said that why are we wasting the rocket metals and all? Why can't we just land it back on Earth? Who would have thought about it? So that's when, we are just small people with small imagination. So whenever you're initiating something like this, just think of
Mm.
that, and make yourself feel comfortable, I feel.
It's really interesting outlook in life, and I'm really happy that you're sharing this with our audience because we might think that it's common knowledge, but it isn't. And some people really don't see the world from, or like don't have the ability to zoom out. And it's good that you're spreading that bit of advice because I found it really valuable. I have so many questions about your business. First of all, how did it come about? Did you ever envision, having your own business, and especially in the sector that you're in?
Yes, I somehow have had that since the beginning, that I would want to have something. See, it comes from
It
my
comes
father.
from drinking the water
He
from that
he
the place that you were talking about. I was listening.
Yeah, true. You never know. That's just my perspective. No science as such, but look, it comes from my father. To be honest, he runs his own business, and he's always made sure that is echoed or put in our thoughts. My sibling, my sister as well. And that's where it began inside me. And when I was learning things, doing my degrees, education, and I always had a thought that I would want to work start something which somehow changes the world, which is questioning the status quo. And actually, COVID was a blessing if I look at it from that perspective. Although my father was seriously sick with the first wave, that's what pushed me to travel back to Australia. Otherwise, I was very settled here. I was just beginning my life here, got a car, started working, just about to settle with the initial phase of my career. But COVID was a blessing in disguise. Although my father was seriously sick with the first wave, that's when I had an eye opener. I was like, if I'm helpless over here, not able to help him out during his tough times, what's the use of
Mm.
being here? That's when I took my hands up, threw everything out, right back in India. And yeah, that's when it actually hit me. That's where the business idea began. Since I was, for the first 3 months, I was just adjusting to life in India, to coffee in India. I dearly miss the coffee in
Yeah.
Melbourne. So that's where the idea began. I thought, I pitched it to my previous employer saying, look, we can have a team of engineers. India is the biggest exporter of engineers in the world. So there's abundance there. It's a easy resource that
Mm.
no, usually anyone can use it. So I just pitched this idea, made a small presentation, the skills that I learned from my uni. So made a small presentation, sent it in an email to him. And since I'd worked with him, I'd earned his trust, or he believed in me. He saw that, I can definitely contribute to his business. So actually, I'm very grateful that he gave it a shot. Otherwise, who would trust someone 7 seas apart, and who would trust someone with their working, giving them access to all of their files and stuff. So yeah, always grateful to him. So he initiated. He said, "All right, let's give it a shot." And we started working. It somehow we finished the first year anniversary. We didn't realize we finished it, and things just fell into their places. And yeah, it's been so far. The journey has been so far so good.
That I can't imagine I guess it ties up with your philosophy of just take the first step. The fact that you'd even send that presentation out. What's something as now a business owner that has really helped you in this journey?
I think being a business owner,
Mm.
you need to have self-discipline. Being an employee, you are told, this is the work that you are expected to do and stuff like that. But being a business owner, and this comes from a perspective of a business owner who's just in their initial years, say 5 years, 10 years,
Mm.
who owns their business privately. So I'm talking in that perspective. It's just about self-discipline. I feel personally for me, if you're just able to give dedicated hours every day, Rome wasn't built in a day, or, Taj Mahal wasn't built in a day. So it's just about not being stressed about, the palace is not built yet, but it's just about making sure you have that belief and you put in your hours,
Mm.
and someday whatever vision you had will come into realization. So I feel it's just about self discipline.
Mm.
And you had a really good, I guess, like you said, your previous boss, he trusted you enough based on your relationship with him before that. As someone listening, I guess they're probably wondering, like, hey, how could I, develop that? Is it more just through like do really well at whatever job you're doing, but or also advocate for your own skills and your what you bring to the table?
Of course, definitely advocate for your skills. I feel, the best salesman is not the one with the fresh apples. The best salesman is the one with rotten apples, but the one who's shouting out loud. And that's for just a salesperson. If you're in sales, the one who's shouting out loud in Vic Market, for example, is the one that gets the bird, that gets the worm. Sorry. So yeah, advocating for your skills definitely, and obviously you'd want to work somewhere where your passion lies. I guess that's where the concept of flow comes in. For example, say football. I have been playing football for ages now. I've made sure that apart from my career, apart from my personal life, this is something that is mine. No one can take the love for football away from me, and that's my dedication towards it. And during this 1 or 2 hour that I would play, say it earlier, it used to be 2 to 3 hours every day. Now it's say three times a week, 2 times a week. And I've made sure anywhere I travel around the world, I carry my football shoes with me. And even here, I met people after 2018 that I hadn't met because of COVID. And I played. While I'm here, I'm playing football. So what I was trying to say was the hour of flow. During this 1 hour, I don't do anything but play football. So you have to follow your passion, during your work. What is the one thing that you love to do the most? For example, you guys love to do this podcast show, right? You guys love to listen to new people, talk about their experience. That's your hour of flow. So you have to find that flow during in your work as well. What do you love? And this is my personal experience. Whenever you find that flow in the work, you have to excel. You have to, you will excel. You will find that recognition all around, because it's just that state of energy where you don't need to produce energy from the inside. It just is there. For example, say I had an interest in digital marketing, on how marketing is done online, and I did a course. And when I started working here in Melbourne with my previous boss, I was very interested. I had a very keen interest in digital marketing, and we used to talk about this. I made sure, we developed that aspect of his business. So this is the flow that I was talking about. My flow, I somehow integrated it in my work, and that's when I started excelling, and that's when he realized my potential, and that's when he was impressed, or that's when he had that confidence in me that, look, even if you're seven seas apart, you will definitely be an asset for us.
Laura here is turning into a bit of a digital marketer herself.
That's wonderful. So we share some common interests.
But it's just a nature of, like, how you said, we are so interested in the podcast itself. So she's been very keen on understanding how to build one's own personal brand, but also build the brand of the podcast and take it to, a different level if we can next year.
I From what I've learned so far about building personal brand online,
Hmm.
it's just about being as human as possible online, to be honest. Just making sure you're posting regularly, and it can be a really small thing. It doesn't really matter. It has to be your brand though, like your interests, your style, your preference. It has to reflect your personality.
Hmm.
Um, you know, like for example, this logo, it does come from the heart. Like, that's who I am. I represent this thing that I've learned from different cultures, which is in English. And this is me, my background in Devanagari. So I feel this is a really good tip, I feel.
That is really
I
good.
don't
Yeah,
know.
just be authentic. I think that's a lot of what the at least the younger people, from what I can see, my generation and the one below on social media, they seem to be really craving that. They don't really want to see a facade. They want to see someone be human, be authentic. But with regards to social media, I am just curious. Do you think it's relevant for people in for every industry to get into it? Like sometimes I look at, yeah, construction industries, and I'm at an engineering firm as well. How relevant is it for them to be involved on social media? Does it actually help the business?
Yes, of course. Where Coming from my business perspective, you have to have a presence online. Everyone has to, because everything is going digital. Even if your industry lags in digital transformation, one day or the other, it's inevitable. And it better to have an online presence, have a little online presence than no presence at all.
Mm. But I guess then it just becomes about like brand awareness at the end of the day. It's not like business actually comes from being like, for some companies, being involved in social media is huge because it brings business. But whereas some industries, I feel like engineering and consulting is like more from relationship building and actually producing. So I guess that's sort of where I was wondering whether the social media aspect comes into it so much. I guess people just have awareness of what you do.
Yeah, I feel you have to have that brand awareness, even if you're from an engineering firm. Obviously, the business will come from references primarily, but it's just about being relevant, and it is about branding yourself, um, making people know that you're there and you exist, and this is what you do, this is what you care about. It's not just about posting what you do. I
Mm.
don't like direct marketing at all. Whenever I'm on a business lunch, whenever I know that the person sitting next to me has some work for me, has some business for me, I talk anything but business to him. Anything
I
at
know,
no
it's the
business at
relationship.
all, because you can sense that selling. You can sense that the person next to me is selling something to me. So I never talk about it. It's just about talking any random, anything that is common with them. For example, talk about the sport, say cricket or football, talk about their hobbies, gardening, and it really interests them. You want to talk about something that both the parties are interested in, that have common, and then you build a relation later, and that's when you, and whenever you want to say that you have this business and I want this business from you, you post it online. So it's like a subtle marketing or a subtle way of saying that you want business. But I never talk about business whenever I'm on a business lunch, because even people, they don't want to hear about your business. They just want to have good food, talk about few stuff, what's going on in AFL, talk about the recent news.
So do you have a system like in the second or the third meeting you talk about it, or do you?
Not really,
Okay.
nah. I just don't talk about it. Honestly, unless someone asks me what you do, I wouldn't talk about it. I think that's my style. Sometimes it can backfire, it can take longer for me to get that business. If I would have asked during the first meet or the second meet, and the person was eager, it would have just been signed there. But that's just my preference. I want to connect with them as a person first, and then if things look good, they would obviously know about my business via my social media.
Mm-hmm.
And then if
Hmm.
there's any synergy, then obviously open to discuss. That's just my preference. I feel, yeah, I'm good that way. I'm good about talking anything else but my business.
I feel like same, which I'm like curious at what point does it like does the perception just flip where they're like, oh, this person just talks anything but business rather
Yeah.
than I'm just here to get this signed and I want this, like I want to meet this goal that I have, what's that fine balance?
Well, I feel during the first initial meet, when you don't even know the person, when you're meeting a complete stranger, you shouldn't talk about your business
I
at
agree.
all. You should just talk about some common ground. But if it's a business environment, say for example, a conference, people are expected to talk about their businesses.
True.
People are expected to network. So that's where I'm like full-fledgedly talking about my business, but never on lunches or any. I would want to get to know the person, feel comfortable, and if there's anything, just say.
So it's like knowing your environment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True, definitely. Otherwise, if you talk about your business at the wrong environment, say for example, we're just having a few drinks, talking about football, and you landed and somehow we ended in the conversation of our businesses. That's okay, but you shouldn't be the first initiating that. And no one is people understand, people sense that you're trying to sell them something, and that's really a
It can turn people
bad
away. Yeah.
taste. Yeah, so never. I feel that's not just my style.
And on the topic of your style
Hmm.
and your preference, is what characteristics do you think a successful employee needs to have? Successful
Employee or an employer?
employee first, and then we'll look at employer after.
I think an employee, see, I've done both. So I've been an employee, been an employer. But look, successful employee is someone, let me have a think, to be honest.
He's like, what characteristics do I have?
But also, what would you be
I
looking for
think,
now that you'd probably be in a position to hire people?
yeah, I think you find people who you send an email and they just say, all right, done, or they just give you an assurance
Was
that some successful employee is someone that you give the work to
Mm,
and you don't have to look back, and you have that trust. So a successful employee would be someone you can trust.
mm.
That's what you can look at it from a football's perspective. A successful employee is a teammate of yours who you can pass to, who you want to pass to. There
Yeah.
are some players who want to do some showboating,
We don't name
and
them.
sometimes lose and sometimes lose some possession. That's not a successful employee for me.
Hmm.
Someone who I can just pass and know that the ball is safe with the teammate and we have a good chance of winning. So I guess trust.
I
Yeah.
really like that analogy of soccer because it's like excellent in the workplace as well. Like you don't want to be working with someone that is completely like,
Self-obsessed.
sort
Yeah.
of like absorbed in their way of doing things and they're not open to try new things. So to even share loads, like
Yeah, and
it becomes really, really isolating for everyone
it
else.
ends up like a double
Yeah.
work if you don't want to give it to someone who will not. meet expectations, and then you have to step in again, help them out. It's like a double work. So someone who's really trustworthy, and I feel that's the culture. That should be the culture in your team, where you can trust each other. Say you set a deadline for
Mm,
each other for some tasks, and you trust that person that all right, he's gonna deliver it. I don't know how, I don't know his time schedule. I honestly shouldn't look into his time schedule. However he wants to do it,
mm,
he can, as long as he's able to deliver it. That's how the our culture has been at Mebumi as well. Currently I'm
mm,
here. All of our team is in back in India. There's no check-in into each other every week. There's no meeting if it's really not required. Everyone's doing their work on time. Everyone's submitting their projects, and that's all. We haven't talked for a while, all of our team, and that's not really required these days. With the technology that we have. That's how I feel. Trust should be there. That's
mm.
the major aspect I feel of a successful employee.
I guess I completely agree with you, and I think that's like a very progressive way of looking at businesses. But the only thing or like shortcoming or like downfall that I see of doing things that way is what about culture? And I guess workplace culture, I mean, and that's what we're sort of like moving towards, like a completely, I don't know, like hybrid sort of like type or just, online. So how do you build culture when when this is moving towards a more digital world?
We are moving towards digital world, but I am a bit old school. I want to meet people in person. Although I do run a remote estimation business, I do want to meet people in person. So I feel hybrid is a way to go. Feel free to come into the office whenever you want to, or whenever there's a team meeting or a team activity. And honestly, this is something that just while discussing this, there should be freedom these days, and there should be trust again on the employees.
Mm,
As long as you're able to deliver what you were delivering earlier to post COVID, I honestly don't really care if you're in the office or if you're not. As long as the delivery is up to the point, up to the quality,
mm,
people should be given freedom these days. Our post-COVID people have realized the need of work-life balance, the need to not travel long, the need to be at home. If it's possible to work from home, why not? They
mm,
should do it from home if it's convenient. At the end of the day, if my staff is happy, if my team is happy, that's what I really care about. But yeah,
yeah.
I am a old school principle when I say people have to come for the parties that our team has organized, because the company money is spent there. So, and it's a good initiative to meet people. Even though you sometimes
Mm,
feel like a principal, I do it. I do make sure that all of the team is involved whenever there's like a pizza party or there's a Diwali celebration back in India. We make sure we say the attendance is compulsory.
yeah. Okay, so you do still have sort of like have moments where you can bond as a
Yeah.
team and, get to know each other and, as you said, talk about
Yeah, look,
things
the people,
more than
yeah,
businesses.
there are different kind of people. Some are self-disciplined. They can work from anywhere. They can work from home. They can work from the office. Sometimes people who lack self-discipline should be schooled or should be, somehow get into the habits of coming to the office, being there for a while, working, and then can go back. So honestly, it's a huge discussion, huge topic of debate. But I feel hybrid is the way to
Yeah.
go. Freedom is the way to go. Just trust your employees.
Mm,
Whatever their preference is, should be your preference.
nice. Do you think you can become more self-disciplined? Like, do you have any tips for people that are wanting to become more disciplined in their like personal lives and even like in the professional? Now that we're talking about discipline.
Discipline. Look, there are a lot of tips and small tricks to be disciplined. It completely depends upon the person's preferences. But I feel to be disciplined, you need to know your goal. and you need to have a everyday reminder of the goal. That is how you can stay disciplined, and you need to talk about it, talk to just not to yourself but to everyone around you, so then they become your regulators or your principles. Whenever you're, say for example, fitness, yeah, discipline is the first aspect for fitness. And if you talk about it to your friends, they can catch you while you're eating junk, they can catch you while you're doing something wrong which is against your fitness.
Mm.
So I feel, yeah, you need to be aware of your goals. So set a screensaver saying, I need to be XYZ kgs in 3 months. This should be like your there should be a everyday reminder that can be your screensaver, or like a poster in your bedroom, or like a daily reminder app. Say for example, water app, whatever. So focusing on goal is yeah, is how you can be disciplined.
Wow. You shared a little bit about the business that you are part of earlier when you were introducing yourself. And I found it really interesting when you explained it to me at the expo. You were saying like we convert numbers, like we grab drawings and we convert them into numbers. And I would really like to sort of like I would like you to share about that idea because it sounds pretty cool and it sounds like it could help or at least automate a lot of things in the estimating world. So do you want to share that with our listeners?
Yeah, sure. So, look, converting drawings to numbers is not a easy task. You need to have that skill of reading the drawings first, and then you need to have that focus to then translate it into an Excel file, for example. So basically, what we do is, say a government project has been tendered, has the government has initiated a tender for a school in some regional area. So that's where our estimator comes in, when the architects release the drawings saying this is how we want it to be built. Our engineers or architects would then look at their drawings, look at their elevations, look at their floor plans, look at their structural drawing, and mark it using a software, using a estimating software. Take the readings and compile it in an Excel file or however the client's preferences are, and that's when we convert it into numbers. So in terms of automation, there you can't just have an AI tool that can convert drawings into numbers. You need to have that engineering mindset to actually look at it and then realize the amount of labor that would be required. AI will reduce some time. AI will take out some time. For example, I think AI can help us out in locating, say, steel for that matters. So if you say about structural steel, in the drawings, it's marked, the grade is marked, say a thick steel or a sheet metal steel. So AI can help us out in pointing it to the engineers. So AI can help you with that, but at the end of the day, there needs to be a human intervention and actually calculating how many days or what material or what's not correctly marked by the architects, because even architects sometimes miss out the intricate details, and that's what we are currently exploring here in Mebumi. We are making use of the best softwares out there in the industry. With the help of AI, it's making our lives better, saving us time, but definitely won't be able to replace the human interventions that we have.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I'm confident
engineering
about.
judgment. Yeah, absolutely. There's certain things that just come with experience, okay,
Yeah,
and
but it does
having
save
gone
us
through
a
it.
huge load of time. What it does is, when we throw in the software that we use, when we throw in the drawings, it just gives us marked location, that this material is here, 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 and that it's
Mm,
easier for us. Otherwise, it wouldn't. If there was no AI softwares, it we would have to go through all the drawings, have a look where it is, stuff like that. So it does make our life easier. It saves us a huge
mm.
lot of time. But yeah, still there's a need of
Wow.
human intervention.
Yeah, I like that. I like to hear that. Makes me feel like, I don't know, hopeful for the future and it's changing technology. We met at the I guess panel of diversity and inclusion, and I'm really curious to know how in the United Kingdom and here in Australia, whether you've had any, I guess, experiences where you've realized that there's a gap, I guess, in diversity and inclusion. I don't know if mindset or like perception, or how has your experience being as like as a migrant?
I feel the realistic approach is to just when there's a lot of people say politically appropriate. I hate that.
You don't have to be political appropriate in this
Yeah, of course.
podcast.
No, I hate that. That's what I'm saying. I hate that. I hate that term. It's a whitewash term, to be honest, I feel. I think we should just be aware of our differences and embrace them. When you're talking with a friend of different background, you actually can be racist. As in like not racist,
Yeah.
racist, but you know what I mean? Like, I have lots of friends from around the world, and whenever we say for example in the photo, my friends call me a brownie, and I take it sportingly, and I think that's how it should be translated into everyday life, into professional life. We are making a huge fuss about political correctness, to be honest. People should just address the differences and not make a big fuss about it, I feel. And in terms of inclusion, yeah, there is this issue that we face, but I feel it's just upon the people who are in position of power, the leadership with diverse background, are the one to actually inspire and take a lead, initiate such efforts or put in such efforts where people from diverse background get the same opportunities to grow. Obviously, also a task for the ones who get these opportunities to grab it with both hands. So it's, I feel, from top to bottom approach, I feel. And I do recall someone at the conference telling about a story about Earl's Court. So most of the Aussies, when they travel to United Kingdom, they would want to settle in Earl's Court. It's because most of the Aussies there want to travel there are settled in Earl's Court. So basically, it's about finding that comfort zone. People tend to find that comfort zone. It's easier for me to have a word with, say, someone with a Mexican background, just because usually the food is spicy and the chilies are common. So it's likewise, meeting people with similar background. So I feel to get ahead in your career, you should just meet people with your background and make sure they can help you out, and obviously get to experience different cultures.
Mm,
I feel the more you talk with different people, the more you know about their culture, and the more you can share common interests. Say if I had an Aussie friend, if you talk about AFL, that's just a gateway to, say, 2 hour conversation. So it's just about common ground.
mm,
This is how I do it. Whenever I meet a new person, a stranger, I have a look at them. I would want to know about them, what they like to talk about. Once you see, mention anything random, talk about the sport or talk about anything else. Just shoes, your jewelry looks good, your smile is amazing, and you can see that energy. If they talk a few words about it, you know that you've got it. You've got that hook to talk about, and if you have knowledge in that area, the conversation just goes on, and then you just connect, and somehow you never know how many hours have just passed just talking. You need that common ground. Like chili, for example, is a common ground in Mexican food and Indian food. Conversation starter.
that is so interesting. I really like that because it's about embracing our differences and still like find we're all so different, but there's something that we all have in
Yep.
common is that like human aspect of
I
it.
think smile is a common smile is great. Everyone smiles in and around the world. Even in their tough times, whenever if you smile to a person, it's such a free commodity to use.
Mm.
And if you just smile at someone, even if someone is having a bad day, somehow that person finds an affinity towards the other. So yeah, I guess smile is a common gateway. Diversity and inclusion, question answered. Smile is the answer.
I guess that's sort of like the main attribute when people refer to someone with charisma, It's someone who can find something in the other person that the other person likes and then
Yeah.
uses that to showcase their own personality, which is, I don't know if the listeners will be very aware, but it's like a huge attribute people give to Shah Rukh Khan. So he just makes
Mm.
you feel so special, and somehow like being so big it's like they can't imagine that someone on that level can be interested in the person in front of them, like that humble. It leaves me
Yeah.
stunned.
Well, we just had a party last weekend. It was one of my friend's birthday, and there was a huge cricket match, India versus Pakistan.
Yes,
So we had a
one.
broadcast party here. Yeah, and we actually love Shah Rukh Khan's approach, and we actually followed that. You know what Shah Rukh Khan does? During every party of his, he makes sure he goes. He drops the guests
Yes.
by their cars.
Yeah.
And we did that. This was the first time me and my friend decided we are gonna do it. We have an apartment on the 23rd floor,
Yeah.
and we made sure we dropped down everyone at the parking. And one thing I realized why he does this is, who would say that the party was not good when you're dropping someone at the car? Everyone would say, right? We had a blast. We had this. Thank you for having us. It feels good. So why not drop them every time at their car?
And hear nice things.
We, s-
I think
yeah,
you're
just
looking
to
a bit
hear some
confused.
nice things.
Firstly, Shah Rukh Khan is like, I'd say globally, he's the biggest movie star, Hollywood
Yeah,
combined. I don't think there's anyone as big as him just by the sheer volume of work he does and the money he earns. So he's like an Indian Bollywood actor, but globally, he's like the biggest.
true.
Yeah.
Mm.
But also, we digress. You are an entrepreneur, and
Yeah.
honestly, I'm not sure in your experience, so maybe you could answer this. Do you think the split of like male and female entrepreneurs is roughly equal, or do you think there is a difference? And if there is a difference, what would you attribute it to?
Honestly, there you can say that women find it difficult just because of the environment that the social environment of today
Hmm.
or earlier. But in coming times, I feel men would have to fight for their rights later. Because of no, I'm don't take me wrong. What I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is, with the amount of talented women out that I met, I've seen, I've looked at their post and everything. The amount of women with their risk taking and with their confidence, sheer confidence, I feel in the coming few years, men are gonna find it tough. And honestly, it's it there's I don't see it from that lens at all, as gender. It's just the attribute of running your own thing. It's just the attribute of risk taking, fearless. So it can be anyone. It can be a male or a female, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a male characteristic or a female characteristic as such. It's just about an individual, regardless of their gender, I feel.
Are you sure that wasn't a politically correct answer?
I don't know. I honestly, I
I'm
don't know
just
what I'm
kidding.
talking about. No, but yeah, I honestly feel that it's not a gender-based characteristic at all.
Definitely as a
But
characteristic, I wouldn't say it is. But like you said, as a social norm, I'd say
yeah,
one is more used to it than the other. But I guess
yeah,
it
that's true.
sounds like what you're saying is if there is a gap, at least we are bridging it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely. We are bridging it, I feel, and with current, like, there's no need. It's easier these days than earlier.
Yeah,
You
definitely,
know.
certainly. Yeah.
Yeah, and the women that I am exposed to in my life, they're doing much better than me. So I'm scared, honestly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Why are you scared? What scares
Scared
you?
as in, not scared, but I am in awe, you can
So
say.
inspired
Bad,
is the word
wrong
you're
choice
looking
of,
for.
yeah, yeah, I'm inspired, yeah. Yeah, my bad choice of words, but I'm in awe, I look at my sister. I have a sister who's elder than me. I look at my mother. I look at my aunts and everyone who are doing well in their life. And yeah, in entrepreneurship as well, it's easy promotion sometimes, if you have a co-founder who's a female lead, it's easier for them to open doors, I feel. I don't know, I may be wrong. This is just my perspective, but yeah, I'm really scared. Sorry, I'm in awe, I'm inspired. And look
Too
at you,
late.
look at you guys now, you know you guys are the flag bearers, you know. I'm pretty sure, even if you wouldn't be aware of it, but I'm pretty sure looking at your posts or your LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever, your social media presence, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be inspired to start something of their own. A lot of people, a lot of women in construction would feel comfortable to reach out to you to discuss their problems. And you guys, you guys are responsible to inspire people, right? So yeah.
Just here to share the stories of many inspiring people, such as yourself, with this very innovative business that you have going on. I think you're definitely at the front end of this anyway. So, all the
Yeah.
best. And it has been fantastic speaking with you. Thank you so much for all your insights.
Yeah, thank you for sharing the, as much transparency as you were able
I
to,
hope
because it's all about that. It's all about getting the real you.